Hi, welcome back. So in the last video, we have seen the transform translate property, right? So in this video, what we will do, we will cover some of the other transform properties. Okay, so if I just go to my browser, so I have opened this documentation of the transform functions, and there are a bunch of transform functions. So we have matrix 3D, we have perspective. So if I just open that, okay, there are some of the examples. Okay, so as you can see, there are many of the examples, but we will not talk about them, but we will talk about two of the most important transform function. One of them is the rotation and the other one is scaling, okay, or resizing basically. So let's talk about the rotation. So I will just open this. We have rotate 3D as well, rotate X, rotate Y, and so on. All right. So as you can see, it is rotating the image here, right? So what I'll do, we have this box, right? So I will go here and I'll get rid of this margin. And what I'll do, I will do something like transform and then rotate, and this rotate needs a degree. Okay, so here what I will do, I'll do 45 degree. All right, hit save. Now our square is rotated 45 degrees. Okay, then we have the rotate X as well. So rotate X is 0, and then if I do 45 degree, then what is happening, the rotation axis is being changed to the x-axis. Okay, so as you can see that, so what I'll do, I will go ahead and do something like rotate X of 45 degree, and let's see what happens. So if I go to the browser, so here it is, and we have this one. So here, as you can see, if I just rotate that, it is going, and then it is getting like upside down basically, and then it is going once again upside down. So this is not that much visible. So let me just go ahead, and we have the CSS transitions here, right? So let's do transform. Okay, and let's add the h1 some styles. So h1, and do a border of 2 pixel solid, and let's do black. Okay, and then we can do a transform of rotate X. Okay, and here inside of that we are getting the autocomplete for the angle, so let's add 45 degrees. Okay, hit save. Now we are having the h1 here, which is getting rotated. So I will just select this h1. Now as you can see here, it is a little bit more visible. So it is rotating around the x-axis. Okay, it is now upside down, and then once again it is getting upside down. Okay, so this is the rotate X. Now let's see what happens if we use rotate Y. If I do that, then it will rotate around the y-axis. Okay, so we have this. So what I'll do, I'll just increase that. As you can see, it is rotating around the y-axis. It is now totally mirrored basically, and then it is once again mirrored as well, and here it is. Okay, we have this. Now we have the only the rotate as well. So if I just save that and do 45 degrees, as you can see, our text is getting rotated around the center point. Okay, and the h1 is a block level element, so that is why our h1 is getting cut off from our screen. Okay, so we have that. So we have the rotate z as well, which does the similar thing basically, the same thing as rotate, which we just saw. All right, so this is basically the rotate. And if we go to the documentation once again, as you can see, it is getting that. And also it can get a degree, it can get a turn, it can get some radians as well. Okay, we can do that. So this is the rotate transform function. Okay, then we have the scale transform function. So we have this one, the scale, scale 3D, scale X, scale Y, and scale Z. Okay, so as you can see, once again, the scale Z is basically for the 3D objects, which we will not be covering right now, but we have the scale Y, as you can see. So it is scaling around the Y axis, as you can see. And then we have the scale X as well, which is scaling around the X axis. All right. So what I will do for this second box, basically, I'll add a scale of, let's say, 2. Okay, so if I do that and go to my browser, as you can see, our box is now twice as big. Okay, then we have the scale X. So if we do that, or the capital X basically, if we do that, then our box will be twice big in the X direction. And if we do scale Y, then our box will be twice big in the Y direction. Okay, I hope that makes sense. So this is the scale property as well. You can just go to the MDN and play around with the examples as well. These are some nice examples. Okay, so we have the scale, scale X and scale Y. So the scale function will just make it bigger or smaller inside of the both of the X and the Y axis. And also we can provide two values as well, which we are doing currently here inside of this example. The first value will be for the X axis and the second value is for the Y axis. Okay, so yeah, so this is basically the scale transform function. So these are the two most used transform functions which we have covered. We have also skew as well. If I just go ahead and we can do something like this, if we want to skew the image or a div, something like that. If I go here, so as you can see, we can create some interesting shapes with the skew transform function as well. And then we have the translating, which we have seen, right? We have seen the translate function and we have seen the translate X, translate Y, and translate Z. Okay, and then yeah, these are most of the transform functions which we have. So in this video we have learned about the two most used transform function. One of them is rotation or the rotate, and another one is the scale. Okay,